The Chicago Bulls must solve this. We're going to be talking about the crowded backcourt for the Chicago Bulls. And we're also going to be talking about Lonzo Ball and his recent statements, which suggests that he will be ready to play basketball for the Chicago Bulls. This is your host, Rico Greenhowe, and this is another episode of Bulls Digest. And before we jump into today's hot topic, I wanted to go ahead and share a special message from today's sponsor of the video, Fume. Have you heard that the flavored air category is quickly becoming the leading alternative to vaping and smoking? It's a whole new movement towards better habits led by the sponsor of today's video, Fume. Fume has served over 300,000 customers, and you could be the next success story. For a limited time, use my code DIGEST to get your free topper. It's the perfect accessory to your Fume device. Slip it onto the mouthpiece for a softer, warmer feel. It's chewable for those who love to fidget, and it's reusable. Head to tryfume.com. That's tryfume.com and use the code DIGEST, or you can scan the QR code on the screen to get your free Fume topper when you order your journey pack today. Go to tryfume.com/digest or scan the QR code and use the code DIGEST to get your free Fume base when you order your journey pack today. All right, so we're talking about the Chicago Bulls. We're talking about this crowded backcourt. We're talking about these veterans kind of being in the way of this youth movement. And let's start with what Lonzo Ball just recently came out and said. And it was TMZ that caught up with him, I guess, at the airport. And he was essentially saying that fans can expect for him to be back on the court. And that's all he's really wanted to do. And so, look, Lonzo is trending in the right direction. He's been right on par with what he's saying in his podcast and what he's been saying publicly. Look, he's right here where he's at the 5-on-5s, just like he talked about some months ago. There hasn't been any setbacks or anything like that. And it's interesting because a team source came out and said that, well, Josh Giddey is going to be the primary ball handler. And so, look, the direction of the Chicago Bulls, it just doesn't add up to me, because if Lonzo Ball is trending in the right direction, and the Chicago Bulls haven't come out and said that they're going to put him on a minutes restriction. And in fact, Billy Donovan over the summer in Summer League said, I'm looking forward to Lonzo Ball and Josh Giddey in the backcourt. So that suggests that you plan on using Lonzo Ball. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, Lonzo Ball has a high IQ level. We know that he can knock down the jumper. We know that he can, penetrate the lane. He has the ability to draw to and kick out to shooters. Like, he absolutely helps your basketball team. But does he help the youth movement move forward? Is he going to be around, for this youth movement? Does he help you build towards the future? And I don't think he does. But I think that this is a situation that the Chicago Bulls are really going to have to figure out, because, look, you traded for Josh Giddey. And it's clear that they said that they wanted Josh Giddey to have the keys to the offense. He's felt like if he gets out of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's shadow, that he is going to be a better player. He feels like he's going to come back from last season and that down season. And I must say, look, he played well over the Olympics. If you throw up his numbers right now, look, 17 points a game, almost 7 rebounds a game, and 6 assists a game. So, I mean, this guy was almost putting up a triple-double. We know that he can be a stat stuffer, right? We just know that he has to become a better jump shooter. And so, you want to properly evaluate him, especially going into a contract year. But I'm questioning, are the Chicago Bulls really going to look at him and properly develop him? Because if Lonzo Ball comes back and he's healthy, I have to think that the Chicago Bulls are going to play Lonzo Ball. And I think that they are going to get stuck in the right now. And I just think that the Chicago Bulls don't do things logically, right? And because of that, that's why you would see a scenario where, yes, Lonzo Ball could be playing a lot more than he needs to. Same with Zach Lavine and the same with Vooch. And so, look, the Chicago Bulls have got to get a clearer path. Like, are you going with this youth movement? Are you going to just stay in this whole, we're just going to stay in the mediocrity of the Eastern Conference? I mean, what position are you taking here? So I think that the Chicago Bulls need to take some massive action in solving this. And I know that there hasn't necessarily been a market for Zach Lavine, or at least that's what we're told. But, I just question, like, is AK on the phone regularly trying to figure out, okay, who would want these players? What is it going to take for you to take these players? Because I just think that he is going to have to do that in order for this team to eventually take those 5, 6, 7 steps forward in order to eventually, hopefully, get out of the Eastern Conference and hopefully get back to an NBA Finals. But, first and foremost, man, they've just got to figure out the direction that they want to go. And I think that with Billy Donovan, this is going to be a challenging season, because let's say that AK comes up and he says, look, I don't care what it's going to take. You need to play these vets just enough, all right? So I have something to say to other teams and show them that these players, you can trade for them and they can help your team, and you've still got to focus on this player development, right? That's one of the things that we've really knocked Billy Donovan for. And so, I'm curious to see what his voice is going to be, because that some of these vets, they're going to want to show everything that they can show, especially a player like Lonzo Ball, who is going into a contract year. I have to think that he's going to be extra motivated, especially being out, to show everything that he can to other NBA teams and show them that, hey, he can be a serviceable player still in the NBA. I have to think that Zach Lavine is probably thinking the same thing. He has to think, look, if there's no trade market, I've got to show my value. I've got to stay healthy. I've got to be there for big moments and things like that. And so, if Billy Donovan were to go up to them and sit them and move them out of the way for a younger player, I'm sure he might get some pushback. So, it's going to be a real question, like, what is his voice? And then also, too, will he still be able to develop these players? Because that there are going to be a ton of mistakes from Modest Buzelis. That Jalen Smith is going to make some mistakes ultimately, especially when he starts to get major minutes. Same for anybody that they could call up, whether it's Sanogo, whether it's Kenny Lofton Jr., any of those young talents, Dalen Terry, Julian Phillips, like, they're going to make some mistakes, but it's all about growing with them and helping them reach their potential. And that's something that we're wondering with Billy Donovan, if he can do that. So it is going to be a challenging situation. And I just think that the Chicago Bulls, once again, I say it over and over, they have got to get a direction. So let me know in the comments what you are thinking. Do you think that the Chicago Bulls have a bit of a mess, especially now that we hear Lonzo Ball talking very confident about coming back? Do you think that there is a situation where Lonzo Ball maybe takes away time from Josh Giddey? Or do you think the Chicago Bulls are going to do the logical thing and go out there and continue to develop this youth movement so we can push this Chicago Bulls team out of just being mediocre in the East, and then hopefully getting back to the top of the Eastern Conference, back to an NBA Finals at some point in some time? Let me know in the comments what you think. I just want to thank everybody out there for liking and subscribing to the video, and let you know that 67.8% of you that watch the videos are not subscribed to the channel. Make sure that you slam dunk on that subscribe button for me, as it means a lot as we try to reach our goal of 5,000 subscribers before the NBA season starts. And look, even though the Chicago Bulls should have a clear direction, should have moved on from some vets that are going to be in the way for our younger players, I'm still saying go Bulls, and I will see you guys on the next one. Peace. I'm out.